Student mission trips are vital for students' transformational growth. They need to see what Jesus Christ is doing in the world and join Him in the mission. LeaderTreks offers student mission trips and wilderness trips that have 5 distinctions to them that I want to share with you. 5 things that make our trips different. The first one is that we have a student-led program. On our trips, students will make decisions about work and ministry.
I've had nearly 5 years of interactions with LeaderTreks now. I've grown to have a lot of confidence in them over the years. What they say they are going to do, they follow through on. What the website says about what the experience will likely be is not hyped up, it's real. I don't have any sense of overhype or overdone kind of emotionalism with them. It's a sense of we're going to do work and we're going to get after it and we're going to pay attention to how God's at work and join in that.
You think about how you learn how to do things. You think how you learn how to play football, you play football. If you think of how you learn how to cook, you cook. We believe the same thing is true of leadership. You learn how to lead by leading. And so we want to give students the opportunity to lead.
We live in a generation where kids are coddled and they don't get to experience adult life. And a couple hundred years ago at 14 you started apprenticeships. That was how it worked, and for thousands of years 14, 15, 16-year-olds were actually learning to be adults. And what we've done is have this prolonged adolescence.
When I was the food leader, I was just 15 years old then, and it was just such a different concept for me. We would go out and take inventory and figure out how many groceries we would need and what kinds. We were in charge of just getting the food on the table at the right time and just feeding everyone.
Hey, what do you want to cook? You think it should go for that long? You know, it's just kind of weird. And I never experienced it. I was always used to adults kind of hogging the time to be boss.
The LeaderTreks staff did a good job of really forcing me to overcome challenges and take on that role of the leader.
The second distinction is that we offer real work and real ministry. We're going to do kingdom work, not convenient work.
LeaderTreks has been an incredibly integral part of the work that we do here in La Paz. We have always been so blessed by the teams that come through LeaderTreks, really more than any other team.
On the trips with LeaderTreks, I know that LeaderTreks has a good relationship with the ministry partner. It's established.
They're really focused on partnering with the local church or religious organization that's going to be focusing on spreading Christ throughout wherever they are. And that is an excellent quality right off the bat.
We impacted the community through building a soccer court. We built it because the kids had nowhere to play. The kids were playing out in the streets. We poured concrete and we just laid the goals.
Our afternoons were VBS, and so we'd work with the kids from the church.
At the VBS in Pawleys Island, I was in charge of games, which is the best.
It was really cool because we would have some kids certain days, some kids the other days, and some of them you'd see come back, which usually wouldn't go. You'd realize, oh, we made an impact on that kid.
The third distinction that LeaderTreks offers is that we have full-time staff. Our staff receive 27 weeks of training before they lead your trip.
We have a very intentional program at LeaderTreks to develop our staff so they are fully equipped and empowered. Before any LeaderTreks trip leader goes on a trip with students, they actually go through intense training. Then they actually go on a trip and observe a second-year staff facilitate a trip.
The LeaderTreks staff just really just poured into me on the trips. It was really cool just to see them instantly just care about me as a student and the other students on the team, and just really get to see them learn our names before we could even learn 3 people's names.
Our fourth distinction about LeaderTreks is that we only have one group on our sites at a time. We're focused on you and your students, and we'll know their names before they arrive.
They're right there in the trenches with the students as well. So not only are they leaders of the trip, they walk through the trip with the students and us as adult staff.
Being with just our unique team, we see these trips as catalysts for our individual student development. Being together as a group having that intentional team time. You're literally spending life together like a family.
The fifth distinction about LeaderTreks is that we have an intentional spiritual development program. Before the trip, on the trip, and after the trip, we'll help your students live a missional lifestyle.
I really appreciate how they, once you book a trip with LeaderTreks, they just hand all this material to you, just pre-trip and post-trip, and it's just extremely helpful in preparing for the mission.
In the morning, we give everyone an opportunity to spend 45 minutes with Jesus. And so we have a trip book that's designed for this process.
You know, that's one of the most important parts of the day, just growing your alone time with God. You know, you start out 45 minutes every single morning, and it does teach you with a full schedule from, you know, the morning till night. You can spend that time with God.
There's a growing conviction each day that I see in them that we're on the trip, where they come back saying, I want to do daily devotions as more a regular part of my life. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits that I see from a mission trip year after year.
Team time is always a time where we just kind of evaluate what we've done.
We did encouragement beads, so we'd go around and we'd just encourage each other and just talk about what we did in our devos in the morning and just how we saw God work.
You're going to see stuff that pops up throughout each day if you have your radar up as a youth worker, and you're going to be able to say, hey, there's a theme developing here and what God's doing in this group of students. And I'm going to find a way to kind of drive that home towards the end of the week and be strategic about that.
LeaderTreks thinks that going on missions trips is great, but we also think that when you're intentional about what happens on those trips, greater impact will happen and students will be transformed.
And I watched my kids come back as young adults from these kind of experiences. They had experienced adult leadership. They had expressed it, they experienced it, they exercised it.
A lot of what I see LeaderTreks doing is developing students to take an initiative on their lives, in the youth group, whatever situation they're in.
The experience that I had just completely changed who I was, changed how I interacted with my peers, changed how I even went about simple things like tasks, and changed how I viewed the gospel.
The program has taught me so much about leadership, just from being a student leader, being an adult staff. You know, I want to grow. I want to grow in my leadership. I want to grow my relationship with God, and I see this as being, you know, a catalyst for that.
LeaderTreks wants to partner with you. From the minute you call the office, you're going to experience the difference. We're going to talk to you about what desired outcomes you have, and we're going to work to customize the trips to fit your needs. We want to see your students grow, and we want to see your missions trip or wilderness trip be great. Give Dan a call in the LeaderTreks office. We're here to serve you.